Leitrim travelled to Carlow in the hope of salvaging their season, and it was substitute midfielder Conor Cullen, a late call-up to the team, that got their opening score. 3 points from the Shannonsiders would ensue, 2 from the impressive Ryan O'Rourke, including this one, to leave Leitrim 4 points to 1 in front and 10 minutes gone. The home crowd rallied behind their team, but they trailed 9 points to 7 at half-time. It was all Carlow in the second half. Paul Broderick, who scored 1-6 on the day, was on hand to put Carlow in front 1-9 to 9 points after 9 minutes. Leitrim failed to score for 20 minutes, and Carlow's greater aggression and physicality told. Kieran Moran's goal left the result in little doubt with 13 minutes remaining and 9 points between the sides. A melee erupted with 10 minutes to go after Carlow took exception to a high challenge on Sean Murphy. Tensions lasted for a couple of minutes before referee Pádraig Hughes sent Chris Crowley and Brendan Gallagher to the line for their involvement in the brawl. Carlow have now won 3 championship games on the trot for the first time in 73 years in a single championship season. Final score: Carlow 2-14, Leitrim 13 points.
You know, it's a very, very prestigious day for Carlow football. We have struggled for so many years, and I think the players here today have shown the qualities that are here in Carlow football. I've always felt that we had footballers in Carlow, and we just needed to get ourselves organised and get all the pieces of the jigsaw together, and at the moment I think we're going in the right direction.
Disappointing, especially in the championship. You know, okay, we started off reasonably well against London, but a very difficult day against Roscommon, and obviously a very difficult day again today.
This was the third time these sides had met in the qualifiers, meeting previously in 2005 and 2006, with 1 win apiece. Wexford scored the opening point, and Monaghan replied before scoring the opening goal in 8 minutes, as cornerback Fintan Kelly got free in the square before planting a low shot past the Wexford keeper, Shane Roach. Monaghan totally dominated the opening exchanges, and their second goal on 27 minutes was almost a carbon copy of the first, as Jack McCarron fed Carl O'Connor, and he did the rest. Monaghan now led 2-6 to 2 points. Wexford really struggled to get anything going in the opening half. This point from PJ Banville was their first from play, and it came in the 31st minute. But Monaghan finished the half strongly and scored the last point of the opening half, a beauty from distance from midfielder Kieran Hughes. And at the break, it was Monaghan ahead, 2-10 to Wexford's 5 points. Monaghan tagged on another point early in the second half before Wexford gave themselves a glimmer of hope as they scored their opening goal. Kevin O'Grady ran in on goal. He fed Banville, and in the end, it was Ben Brosnan who scored to put Wexford 9 points in arrears. But Monaghan weren't about to capitulate, and they scored their third goal 10 minutes from time, having outscored Wexford by 8 points to 3 up to this point. Kieran Duffy, all alone, couldn't miss, and Monaghan now led by a staggering 17 points. It was an ill-tempered game at times, and both sides had players sent off. Fintan Kelly for Monaghan, Kieran Ling for Wexford, who then had John Lacey sent off a straight red card for a heavy challenge on Owen Duffy. Monaghan ended the game on the front foot and scored the last 2 points, the last one in the last minute from the boot of Desi Ward to cap off a facile 18-point victory. Monaghan advance against a disappointing Wexford. It finished Monaghan 3-23, Wexford 1-11.
Monaghan are playing maybe 7 of the last 10 years in Division 1, and they're a serious experienced team, really well organised, and you know there is a gulf in class between Division 1 and Division 4, and it has shown today again. That's a reality. That's, you know, Wexford are on building blocks, and we've got promoted out of Division 4, Division 3. A disappointing end to the season, but they can build from there.
I suppose after last year's experience where we beaten the semi-final, lost the championship, and the next day out then Longford beat us in the qualifiers, so we're just very determined that wouldn't happen this year. The extra week obviously was a bonus to us, and we used it wisely. The boys, I suppose, refocused after losing against Down, and we were just very determined to come down here today and make sure we got through the next round, and I suppose we did comfortably in the end.
Saturday's clash in TEG Cusack Park saw Westmeath and Armagh face each other for the very first time in the All-Ireland Football Championship. And the game couldn't have got off to a more dramatic start when Armagh star corner forward Jamie Clark received a black card for this challenge on Jamie Gnu after just 30 seconds. When the sides last met in competitive football back in 2013, John Heslin kicked 5 points in Westmeath's narrow victory. The St Lomans man added to his earlier free to give the Leinster side a 2-point advantage. Despite having Kieran McGeaney back on the sideline, it took Armagh a while to settle. But when they did, they kicked 3 points without reply, including this fine Gavin McParland's score to edge them in front. Armagh saw another of their players black carded before the 20th minute in James Morgan, but that didn't stop them dominating for much of the first half. And Stephen Sheridan's score here put them 4 points in front, approaching the half-hour mark. No sooner had Armagh opened up a bit of breathing space when Westmeath scored the game's first goal with a move of the match. John Heslin and Mark McCallan carved out a great opportunity for Frank Boyle, but he was denied by a fine save from Blaine Hughes. However, it was Paul Sherry on hand to slot home the rebound, and this helped Westmeath go in half-time on level terms. Like in the first half, Westmeath were quicker out of the blocks after the interval, and they kicked the next 2 scores of the game, and they were both courtesy of John Heslin, with this particular score being his 6th of the evening. Westmeath only kicked 1 more point in this match though, and it wasn't long before Armagh were level courtesy of points from Rory Gruggan and this effort from Aidan Forker. That would be the last score in this game for 17 minutes, but during that time, Armagh were reduced to 14 men when Gregory McCabe saw red for a foul on Frank Boyle. The game's next score was always going to be crucial, and this Oisin O'Neill point put the Ulster outfit back in front. After kicking 6 consecutive wides, Westmeath drew level when substitute Alan Gaughan, with his first piece of action, split the post with just 3 minutes remaining, and extra time now looked a near formality. Armagh weren't finished yet, and when a second O'Neill point put them back in front 3 minutes into injury time, a narrow win looked on the cards. There was still time for 2 more scores, and when Ethan Rafferty finished off a breakaway goal-scoring move, this sealed Westmeath's fate. So it's Armagh which advance, while for Westmeath, it's the 8th time in 10 years that they exit the championship at the hands of Ulster opposition. Full-time score from TEG Cusack Park, Armagh won 12, Westmeath won 7.
Gutted for the lads. We created the chances at the right time and fell to a lot of the right people too, and just unfortunately just didn't kick the scores that we should have at that time.
It was exhilarating. I think you can see by the perspiration with Bray, we still haven't sort of come down from it. Wasn't the prettiest game in the world, obviously, but there was a lot of character shown in the last 10 minutes in particular, and it's just about getting across the line.
Traffic congestion in Cavan delayed throw-in for 10 minutes at Kingspan Breffni. Tipperary's trip to Cavan would have undoubtedly revived fond memories of their qualifier victory over Derry at the same venue in last summer's campaign. This time, though, curtailed by injury, Liam Kearns handed championship debuts to Emmett Maloney and Jack Kennedy. Cavan's Matty McGleenan also made changes to his starting 15, with several who featured in their victory over Offaly on the bench, while Cavan O'Reilly made his championship start. Tipperary's attempts at attack never really got off the ground, while Conor Sweeney was kept well marked. His contribution in the first half was confined to 4 frees, while Cavan's debutant notched up 2 points for his side in the first half. It was the proverbial game of 2 halves, with the Breffni men dominating the opening 35 minutes. Cavan kept the scoreboard ticking over, reeling off 5 unanswered scores from Tomás Corr, Conor Moyna, Dara McVitie and Martin Riley. Matty McGleenan's side went in the happier of the 2 at the break with a 6-point lead, 12 points to 6, and it could have been more had Gearóid McKiernan gone for goal. But Tipperary emerged rejuvenated in the second half, and they found their purple patch. With a few changes, they began to win ball and capitalised with 4 scores in a row from players such as Kevin O'Halloran and Jack Kennedy. Captain Brian Fox also managed to jink over a lovely score. 2 goals in the space of 10 minutes gave their supporters something to shout about. First up, a penalty from the boot of Conor Sweeney in the 56th minute to put them 3 points clear. Then, with 8 minutes to go, Robbie Kiley netted Tipperary's second goal, giving Liam Kearns' side a 5-point lead. While the introduction of All-Star forward Michael Quinlivan, who had recovered from injury, gave the Premier further inspiration. Cavan did claw back some scores in the closing minutes, including this one from Shawnee Johnston, but it was too late for them. A resilient Tipperary march on with 3 points to spare.
We went from the first half playing fabulous football and doing everything right, and then the second half we failed to win a kick out that first 10 minutes, and it was extremely costly. Tipperary got a goal at a great time, and we just couldn't get back into the game.
Well, they have great heart and great commitment to each other and a great spirit. It's like a club scene in there, you know, and that comes out when their backs are to the wall. They'll always fight for each other, and there's great camaraderie there, and you know, we work hard on that.
Well, Colin, I suppose there were 4 very good victories for the teams involved, but the Tip one kind of stands out given there were 12-6 down at half-time.
Yeah, it's a fantastic result, Des. Going up to Breffni Park was a tough draw in a way, playing a Division 1 team up there, and it's well documented that Tipperary are down bodies this year compared to last year, so excellent result. 6 points down. Robbie Kiley gets a brilliant goal. Conor Sweeney gets a sweet penalty. It's an amazing result for them, considering Michael Quinlivan only came on. Yeah. They have a really, really good side, and Josh Keane, Brian Fox, these are really, really good footballers. And I have to say, Liam Kearns is getting the best out of them, and they've just proven that they're not a one season wonder. They're coming back for more, and they see themselves in Croke Park again this summer.
For Cavan, Mossy, I mean, we heard from Matthew McGlean in there after a Division 1 campaign, which was tough for them, but they went close against Monaghan in a home draw here. You know, to lose that lead that's too big a lead to lose, nearly, isn't it?
It is. It's a kick in the teeth for them, and there was so much optimism around Cavan at the start of the year. Like that in Division 1, they struggled at times, and you know, you go into the championship, and they would have fancied trying to get to an Ulster final, and they were the width of the post away from getting a draw against Monaghan, but you know, they got a home draw, 6 up. And they weren't good enough to close it out, and it's something they're going to have a look at, and they will be very disappointed.
Carlow are through again, still playing in mid-July for them. Now, they have had easier draws, perhaps, but you can sense the momentum that they're getting.
Absolutely, and it's great. Look, it's great to see, and they have. Look, the draw's been kind to them. They've had 2 Division 4 teams, but they've done what they had to do. They've put big performances together. You can see they're building on it. They're getting confidence from it. And Turlough O'Brien, you can see that he's done a very good job there, and they're competitive. And you know, they'll hope for a home draw. And you know, if they get a home draw, bringing another team down to Dr. Cullen Park in mid-July, they'll be delighted with that.